Good afternoon to all. We are moving on to the third day of the session. I welcome Professor Dr. Jaya Jace, Dean, Faculty of Education, Mahatma Gandhi University, to chair the session as well as welcome the gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Sibu. Shall I take over?
You can take over.
Am I audible? Is it clear?
Yeah, you're audible. It is also visible.
Okay, thank you. A very good afternoon to all and welcome to day 3 of the national webinar on interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary education approaches and reflections. Organized by School of Pedagogical Sciences, Mahatma Gandhi University, in collaboration with Directorate of Minority Welfare, Government of Kerala. I am Dr. Jaya Jace, Professor at School of Pedagogical Sciences. Kindly permit me to start the proceedings of today's session by welcoming the online gathering. Professor Sabu Thomas, our most esteemed and eminent Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi University and Chief Patron of the webinar, Dr. Moideen Kutti, Director of Minority Welfare Department, Government of Kerala and Patron of the webinar, Dr. N.C. Narayanan, Professor at Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas, IIT Mumbai, who is our respected invited guest and eminent resource person of day 3 of this webinar, Professor Minikutti, Head of our school and General Convener of the webinar, Dr. Saji Matthew, Principal, Coaching Center for Minority Youth under Directorate of Minority Welfare, Kayangulam, and Convener of the webinar, Dr. Sibuji Netto, Assistant Professor of our school and Organizing Secretary of the webinar, Dr. Ismail Tamarasheri and Dr. Muhammad KV, Assistant Professors of our school and Coordinators of the webinar, the organizing committee members of the webinar, Dr. Hasina, Principal of the Coaching Center for Minority Youth under the Directorate of Minority Welfare at Mattanjeri, Professor Tulasidaran, Professor Asha, and Dr. Sajra Jalil, faculty of our school, all of them, the organizing committee members, and dear participants of the webinar. On behalf of the organizers of this webinar, I extend to all a sincere and wholehearted welcome to the day's proceedings. Over the past 2 days, we have been enriched with lectures related to interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary education. The theme slated for today's session is practicing transdisciplinarity, encouraging academic institutions to engage with local problems. And we have Professor N.C. Narayanan, who is the apt resource person to speak on this topic. Let me give a brief introduction of our distinguished speaker to you. Dr. N.C. Narayanan is a Malayali. He belongs to Vaikom in Kerala. His postgraduate degree is MSc Zoology from University of Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram. He started his career as a hydrogeologist and worked in an interdisciplinary team for land use planning using remote sensing techniques. His involvement with the science movement led him to studies on participatory land use planning for decentralized governance. Later, his studies focused on the institutional aspects of water management and governance. He went on to do his MPhil in Applied Economics at JNU, New Delhi, got his doctoral degree in development studies from the International Institute of Social Studies at The Hague in the Netherlands. After this, he joined as faculty in the Institute of Rural Management, Anand. Dr. Narayanan moved on as Senior Fellow and Executive Director of the South Asia Consortium for Water Resources Studies, mainly coordinating an academic program to instill interdisciplinarity in water engineering programs that links universities of 5 countries. Since 2008, he teaches and contributes to the interdisciplinary MTech and PhD programs in technology and development, as well as to a newly started public policy program in IIT Bombay. He has been a Fulbright visiting fellow at the University of California for 2 semesters in 2016-17. Dr. Narayanan's close collaborators are his PhD scholars. They have together worked on issues of water governance, water conflicts, uncertainty and climate change, technology and institutional choices in urban sanitation, rural drinking water governance and reforms, scaling up technology alternatives and the like. He has also two ongoing field projects working with local governments on canal rejuvenation and flood mitigation planning. He has published 4 books as well as contributed 18 chapters to books and 21 articles to reputed journals. We are happy to have such a distinguished academician and a passionate researcher to speak on the theme slated for today, practicing transdisciplinarity. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and consenting to speak to us today. With due respect, I invite Dr. Narayanan, Professor at Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas, IIT Mumbai, to take over the session. Sir, please take over the session. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. And thank you, Dr. Jayad. One of the most kindest introductions that I've ever got in my life, such an elaborate introduction. Thank you for that. And thank you, Professor, for this invitation. So you can see my slides. It's in the screen because
Yeah, we can see it. We can see.
Slides. Okay. Okay. So then I will just move into that.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about practicing transdisciplinarity today and the types of academic institutions, how to engage with local. Thank you, Dr. for Dr. Babu Sami. He's a very old friend and classmate of mine. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Babu has given a very good introduction on the concept issues. So what I will talk about is, a on what is sustainable development, so that we know what we can. Very briefly again on concepts of inter and transdisciplinarity. Then how do you formulate a problem? And my problem that I am formulating, its solutions and challenges, and then embedding the so I'm going to take pollution as the problem today, and then embedding the pollution problem in a context is very fair. I'm good. Canalopy project. And in um, plan for today. If we about your understanding of what is development, if you don't mind, into the 2 lines, then dialogue on that. Side of here. Can we go to the chat so that we can? Okay. Presentation. Something that is like processes take into account. Hold. These are what like holistic. Do you see? I'm not audible. There's some problem. But what is development? It's a very general statement, you know. Progress. Progress. Can you define progress? Huh? Is it okay now? Am I audible?
So you're audible. You're audible, sir.
Okay, okay. So when all people have basic needs and facilities. So this is very good, Krista Cardoso. Development is when all people have basic needs and facility at least. So that's a good definition. Basic needs is you know what we see as roti kapda makan, like food, housing, and clothing. That's a good. Then qualitative improvement of what? Progress is gradually increasing. I think the Krishna basic needs and facilities. To get to what that I say that it is sustainable development that we want to. Human welfare is a good idea. So if you can.
Chat message in order to call to every good afternoon. Everyone person with folded hands. Organizers. Ratu Pagard has joined the meeting. To get Chris to everyone when everyone has equal access to education and job opportunities. Has joined the audio conference. Your call has been unmuted.
Ritu Sebastian, are you talking here or otherwise? Please keep your mic off. When everyone has equal access to education and job opportunity, very, very good one. Maslow's need of hierarchy, yes, Dr. Shatma, very good. Anyone who wants to kind of speak or shifting from primitive human welfare. This means shifting from primitive infrastructure to advanced one, okay, as an infrastructure one. Further development for generations. Then now we have a lot of to actually development first has this economic kind of a dimension where it's, this and so that was actually so over time by the kind of 1960s and all down. It was not trickling down, and then we had this of issues also began to come in. I think about the the industrial revolution world major agenda earlier also. Even in our there overwhelming development concern was growth. That's why I work in water sector, so there are examples on water. So kind of storage and transmission of water, dams. Then in the 70s onwards, we found that environmental degradation is also a major problem. Will get compromised when you environmental degradation. So all these became compete. So by end of 80s, sustainable development projected as the that the needs of the future. But development it doesn't kind of fall in the same. So and then the other factors like demands, environment consideration. So there is a politics in the democracy to kind of and this also. So the also is a process that. So it's a I know that because I wanted that as what ultimately the normative concept that we want to is what I wanted to kind of tell through that. So these integrative concepts, there was an excellent Babu. So I will just cover through that. So these are what are disciplinary studies? Disciplinary studies are there are disciplines, and these are the goals of the disciplinary goals of research. So there's a disciplinary goals with other disciplines. When only the hydraulics of it, or a sociologist will study only about the kind of access to water, or will study the water. So and then your audience is of new disciplinary knowledge which can go to more disciplinary journals. So that is the discipline. So these are the kind of most essential kind of studies in academia. And multidisciplinary studies, academic there, they will pursue their own research agenda like in disciplinary studies, and there is no cross learning between different chapters. So that is the multidisciplinary. By 90s and all, we found many of the things kind of developing, like culture, for example, we found the ground, like the farmer. Began to work. So another box also called the which became important in these studies. So there could be disciplinary studies which actually can look at a neutral issue. A societal study where so this is more to solve a learning context, and the the level of participation information in the real world problem has different. So so many from different backgrounds. There's a common goals-led setting. There is integration of disciplines. The people began. The sociologists learn from the engineer learn from the economist. And then to solve a common goal, the focus is academic and development of integrated knowledge and theory. So this is only within the academic. Onwards, many interdisciplinary departments, interdisciplinary to come. So here we see that there's a goal setting by different disciplines. And then it's like interdisciplinary once you cross, but non-academic participants also come in, like the participatory research. If integrated knowledge, a problem on the ground. So that's a major problem. Then Robert Chambers tells that every discipline has a profession also. So its own dominant thinking, dominant values, dominant methods of behavior, which is problem to kind of think beyond your discipline. It's stable and conservative, like civil engineering as a discipline. Why would you think that there's a in or agriculture science tells that so green revolution has reached its limits. It has new pests and diseases coming. The productivity is going to a peak. But even with all these problems, they think that there is no problem within the discipline. Also, it's linked to the so what's happening in Europe, what's happening in the US, those things that come to us, but really apply to our context is one question. Is to that knowledge by teaching, defended by specialization, by publications within. There is this, and then Chambers, and they say that there is a discipline in a quantitative values are given more power within these keeps it as one of the barriers to kind of think and because in this place alternatives are within the kind of water engineering discipline. But new challenges for water professionals are, Babu was telling about the completely kind of, destroys thinking all. And then there is this, equity issue. So who is actually kind of benefited by these infrastructural systems? Who actually gets brunt of that is another question. So are you considering technologies? Where School of Pedagogy there salinity was the pollution within the Vembanad Lake. So for paddy cultivation, salinity was not needed. The barrier was fixed. Within the next 20 years, ecological studies have brought in that it has created a havoc of ecological problems, especially it affected a whole range of ecosystems, including fish. So, is there anything that we need to discuss at this to ask questions? Any clarity?
Sir, you can proceed, I think. Sir, you can proceed.
This, if I stop it, improve. Okay, I'm proceeding. Okay. And which actually needs, waste management. And I'm going to therapy project is that 80% use domestic water, then it be low or water bottles. So like to remain polluted forever. That's the problem posing. The current approaches are two of a continuum. One is the on-site systems. You have some kind of you have a soil absorption purification system. Then other side you have in big cities. These are all connected sewer line and then it's brought to a centralized wastewater treatment plant. So this is the kind of industrial system that is being oriented. These are kind of more traditional treatment plants. That challenge is that only 33% of the connected to pipe population is increasing with migration. So and then another problem is treatment systems meet the prescribed standards put by CPCB. Quickly go through. And by one of my super.
Sir, your PowerPoint is not visible.
After looking at one sewerage treatment plant of one city, we found intensive system. International cooperation agency. Of the loan that comes as construction contract. Then they have huge benefits of selling the comes such from Japan. And often cost needed, repair and maintenance needed. 40% of the O&M cost goes back to donors annually. Kind of manage all this operation management, they have consultants also. So during the implementation stage as well as during the maintenance stage, it's a huge cost that is charged as consultancy supply. This is 70% is the one of the borrower. Then the 10% capital is 11 million. And in Sri Lanka, like 8 hours per day, the tanks overflow and the increases. So this is the problem of centralized technologies in treatment plants. This is our Kerala, and calculations show that the share of like 8, as consultancy contracts. Also, you see the ADB loan cost is all in crores, 95 crores to 69 crores state government share, and municipal has to give 58 crores. So when 95 crore comes, 100 crores is to be by the state government itself. So 30% the cost. Similarly, the Nehru Urban Renewal Program also is the same thing. The central government took something like 70 to 32 crores, but the rest of more than 42,000 crores is actually kind of put by no, like 4,200 crores is actually um, um, we found that it's very block cost expenditure that's happening. So, and we are already from our own kind of share. So, problem then. Kerala Water Authority has and offload in global planning invite, which actually leads to de-skilling of Kerala Water Authority engineers. So, one of my PhD students has done much of this consultancy, increasing is done by overseas which no expertise is something our retired engineers actually doing that. Water Authority kind the small projects and the operate and so models, because we see in our Japan Kudivala Pathadi and all, the pipes are breaking, the much but these are kind of the global.
Sir, excuse me. Hello, Narayan sir. Hello, Narayan sir. Hello. Sir, Saji ആണ് സാറേ, അത് വോയിസ് ഇടയ്ക്ക് ബ്രേക്ക് ആവുന്നുണ്ട്. സാർ PPT ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നോ സാറിന്റെ?
Hello.
hello, sir.
PPT കാണിക്കുന്നില്ല ഞാൻ. Yes, I think.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Not, sir.
It's not visible. Hello.
No, not, sir.
No, sir, your PPT isn't visible.
Not visible, sir. Visible.
Only the, no, sir, only first slide we could see.
Oh, I asked in the beginning itself whether it is visible. Oh, you should have told that then. Let me share it again.
Chat box.
I'm very
So
sorry.
we have written it in a chat box.
Okay. So I think, when I first lost my again. Because is it
Not visible, sir. Okay.
so is it visible now?
The partially
Okay.
visible,
No,
only
sir.
part of it.
Partially visible.
Now it's coming, but not visible, sir.
It has to
We
be
can see
enlarged.
your screen, but not the PPT.
It's showing you are sharing the screen, but it's not visible, sir. Sir, otherwise no issues. Please send the PPT. We will share it. You
Share.
can continue your class, sir. No issues.
So I'm trying to share. Oh, it's
Narayan sir, excuse me. You can open that
Yeah.
PowerPoint in your top or computer. Then from WebEx, you can go for the sharing. You can see that window. You have to keep that window open, first of all. PowerPoint window open, then give share. That will come up.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling. That's what I'm. For me, it is. For me, it is showing
Now it
as
is
it's sharing.
visible.
Now it is visible.
It is visible, sir, now.
Visible, sir.
Sir, no issues. Is there is a difficulty?
Now you can move on to your PowerPoint and make it in show mode. PowerPoint show. Yeah, that's okay. Fine, sir. And on top of that screen share, you can go to the top of the WebEx window. There will be a pop-up, and that will show you a small screen also of your PowerPoint.
Yeah, see,
So now, sir, we are seeing alternatives. One slide is there. You can make it into that.
Now the slide is showing alternatives. I had to click subtitles. Sir, otherwise no issues,
this.
sir. Please send to my WhatsApp. I will.
So you stay on
Then
that
I can
slide and yeah, you can continue. You continue with that PowerPoint window only. You change the.
So has the slide changed now?
Yes. Yeah, alternative approaches is there. Very clear, sir. You can go ahead.
Yeah. So
No,
then
no.
I'll
Still it is
okay.
not showing that that slide only.
I'm very sorry that that this could not come in. So anyway, the story that I told was that there is a mainstream approach to pollution, sewerage treatment plants, which needs to bring in all the polluted water in a city to one central plant, and there is an energy cost, there is a capital cost, and then it needs high kind of capacity also of personnel. Since the country doesn't have that, this attracts foreign funding like Japanese. So what are that is the question they ask. So is that continue, Dr. Saji?
Visible, sir. Alternative is visible, sir.
Okay. So alternatives are more with say low capital and
Narayan sir. Hello, sir. Sir, if there is a difficulty, please send the PPT.
I can hear you.
No issues.
Oh, it's not seen now.
Sir, your slides
Now
are
it's showing alternatives approaches.
Yes, PPT is in.
Now we can see the slide shows natural technology.
so right now you have changed the window.
So yeah. So what's the problem? We can continue that.
Narayan sir, excuse me.
Continue.
Yeah, yeah. Now that window is open, we can. If everything is okay,
Yeah.
sir, you
So
can proceed. Yeah, you can continue. Please continue.
okay. So so the problem is these are distributed costs. Then it also the citizen are responsible for their pollution, and there is possibility for recycling also, which I'll come to later in. And the technologies are natural technologies, which doesn't use much energy. Conveyance costs, and these are kind of locally can be done, and recycling can be done. So there are types of technology solutions for the same problem of pollution in a city. It uses little or no water, reuses power with low, small scale, flexible, is context. Kind of scaling up. Needed is if you want to get the total water, take a thumb rule of 80% of that and create it. Here we need more. I think audio is disturbing. If everybody can mute now, everybody is mute. Okay. So for these systems, small scale decentralized, you need quality data from the household level to community to town. But who will do it is the question. We have there consultants can be hired. It's a big capital investment. Here, what you can do is this is called crowdsourcing, and becomes a data advantage. You know, it bridges action between this and the government and transparent public provisions. So the can academic institutions be consultants to local? So this policy kind of work that we did with the PhD students, the problems of the centralized that. Then we looked at an array of decentralized technologies, and then we found that okay, these are working in at least to kind of clean a water body like a scaling it up. Appropriate scale is a municipality or gram panchayat or something. For that, I think you need capacity, and that is where we propose academic institutions as the knowledge between the is part. This is the Kochi, which all of you. And from Cochin, this lake actually starts. It's one of the biggest, in width. And then it is the lake, and it is connected by two major canals, which is connected a north-south flowing canal, which length of this and to get to these canals, there is a network of other sub-canals. In 1962, this connected the kind of spice trade in Western Ghats through and once it reaches here, it is kind of transport. The spices are transported through here, and then it gets exported here. On not only spices, coir, see. So this was in the 18th and 19th centuries, before the Cochin port came into existence. And so by 7 now, which got a piece of life in the 90s when houseboats were discovered, and it became a major. So you must. But the problem was that, cannot becoming dysfunctional by time. Earlier, this used to be the became
Excuse me, sir. Can you hear me? Hello.
water authority water came in. So nobody is. Yeah.
Sir, your voice is breaking very much. Could you please check
Yes,
the
Dr.
earpiece
Saji.
that you are using? Your voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Could you please check your connectivity?
I will. It's okay. I can go to my Wi-Fi connection. So is it better now? Dr. Saji, is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's better now,
So
sir.
yeah. Okay. So I was talking about the the pollution in the water bodies, which you can see here. And then, from 2011 onwards, there was this, 2011, the solid waste management plan in the town failed. And from that time onwards, Dr. Thomas Isaac, who is the current finance minister, he started a decentralized solid waste management model where nothing went to the centralized, plant, and organic waste were kind of managed like this, which we kind of is called as the aerobic composting units, and plastic used to be get collected, and so this was a kind of, and then there were biogas plants, pipe composting units, 75 aerobic bins. So if households cannot do it, they can come get it into this what do you call community bins. So this model, we thought that it's a very good model of decentralization. Can we extend it to the liquid waste management also? So IIT Bombay, 20 students, and then 15 students of SEMS College of Engineering, Chalakudi in Kerala. We came together and we developed a methodology. All of us kind of stayed in Alleppey for 10 days. We called it a winter school in December 2017. We mapped the natural, and so there were different aspects, so there is where the interdisciplinarity is going to come in. Oh, now I can hear my voice. Is there a am I audible? Yeah, now it's okay. So if there is a problem, please tell me. If audio again.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Sir, PPT is not visible.
Oh, let me again. For me, things are all looking okay.
Sir, continue with voice only.
No, but the PPT is needed.
Okay.
It's not visible, huh?
Yes, sir.
And then share it, sir. Open the PPT first of all.
What is that?
You open the PPT, go to the taskbar, come back to WebEx, and from there you start sharing.
Yeah, that's what I did. I can do it once again. I can stop sharing and start sharing again.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It's not stopping also.
Visible, sir. Visible.
Which one? The screen is visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so what we did was, there are different types of things that to be done. One, the canal dimensions have to be, mapped. Then the discharge points have to be mapped physically. Plus, we have to understand who is actually causing the pollution. That are doing that, and what is the kind of infrastructure that they have. Do they have a good septic tank? Do they put their gray water into the canal? So I think those are the things that has to be needed. So we developed a mobile app called ODK Collect to collect this information. So ODK Collect, it's like our socioeconomic survey that we do in social science. It is done in the mobile phone, but you can directly then once you input that, you can directly take it to Excel and do the calculations. And also you can put it in a Google Earth
excuse
map.
me.
And yes,
Narayan, sir. It's
yes.
not visible, sir. Please. PPT is not
I'm
visible, sir.
okay. I'm not doing anything actually. I think it's going on its own.
Sir,
But please
if you
tell
want
me
my
when it
list,
comes.
and I will share it. No issues.
The problem is it's a big file, so it's still kind of, and I'm trying to share it in the Google Docs, which is also not working.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. I think it's let us wait for 1 minute. I think it's getting
Sir,
loaded now. I'll send you by email.
sir, continue.
Is
After
it
that,
come
KV
back?
sir with us.
Huh?
Sir, continue. After that, KV sir will share with all of us.
Okay. I think half a minute, then I can, this will get loaded. Because these figures are needed actually. There's a lot of photographs which is needed to kind of understand what I'm telling.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's
it's
why.
80% of it is done actually. So I'm sending it to a Google Drive because it's more than 25 MB. Hopefully you will be able to. Oh, I think there's an error in uploading. When it completed, there was an error in uploading.
Sibu sir. Sibu sir.
Yes, Raji sir, I can hear you.
Ismail sir.
Yeah, I can hear
Sir,
you.
please guide, sir. Sir, please guide. It will take 1 or 2 minutes only, but there are so many lot of figures are there, so it is better to see the PPT.
Can I get out of here and come back? Then that may be better. Let me log in again.
Okay, if you
Yes, sir.
sir, if you
Okay,
have,
I'll do that.
log in from there. Sir.
Hello, Dr. Saji, is it coming now?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. Winter and school.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's coming now.
Now it's okay.
Okay. Okay. So I think, finally it can be put in a GIS platform, and that's the advantage. So this is the drain mapping, where you walk through the drain, and there is a OSM tracker app which actually gives you this. It gives you the points where the pollutions are there, and then you can actually map the entire canal network. And then we did the after this first exercise, we developed the methodology. So in another 5 months, in May 2018, we invited applications from all over India for a summer school. So we got 330 students from all over India: engineering, architecture, planning, social sciences, social work, and sciences. So we divided them into two groups. One is a kind of mapping survey group, and the other one was a socio-economic group. So the civil engineering survey group did this survey. They did the dimensions of the canal, slope, and then levels of canal bottom, and then requirements also. What is the quantification of desludging, desilting, and filling needed, and also the quantification of sidewall protection. So to make the canals better, what should be the civil engineering interventions is what they mapped. So then we proved that yes, engineering students can do design. Otherwise, even in IIT, it is actually more of classroom kind of teaching that they are doing. Here, they're kind of engaged in a real life activity and understood that this is one part of the solution that we are getting into. Socioeconomic survey, I'm not getting into the details. Here you can see, in once you collect it using a mobile app, then we can even know the spatial location of these households where we have covered our socioeconomic survey. We did a water quality analysis. That is the environmental engineering group did that. What they did was, these are actually small bottles of hydrogen sulfide. And if you put water in that bottles, if there is E. coli bacteria, that shows there is a fecal contamination, which then it's connected to the toilet, the water will become black. And we found that 93% of the open wells in Alleppey town have E. coli contamination, because every household has a well and a septic tank, and there is a minimum 7.5 meters needed. But your neighbor will never can have that, because it's only 2-3 cents of land available for that. Also, 82% of the shallow tube wells also had this contamination. So that means it's a major problem. Pollution is a major problem, and only we survive because we heat water and boil water before we eat it. So average distance between septic tanks and wells were also very less. So we did a good report, but then what? Things remain the same. We did a transdisciplinary survey by using interdisciplinary methods. We did a report, but then it remains the same. So then we thought that actually, we should actually take a small portion of a sub-canal. Out of the 14 sub-canals, we took one. And then we found that, what are the principles? One is principle of subsidiarity, that, at the lowest level, we should do the interventions. Non-invasive technology. If you put in energy-intensive, capital-intensive technology, it's not affordable, even as a capital cost, and people will not be able to run it. Then it should actually add on to local capacity. There should be a local institution which can manage it, and then people should do social regulation, because people could then go, if they go on putting solid waste into the canal, that also becomes a problem. So there should be some kind of an arrangement where people begin to kind of make behavioral changes and make themselves accountable. And then can we create green jobs out of this also? These were the principles that we kept in mind. So the first thing that we did was, this is the last thing that we did. So we found that actually there are two hotspots in this subcanal. One is a colony. This is the colony of the earlier manual scavengers. They are now municipal workers. There were 52 households, and these houses were built 150 years back. They only have a pit toilet and some community toilets. So what we did was, we actually replaced we mobilized some CSR money, corporate social responsibility funding. And first we, changed all their toilets and then connected this to a DWAT system. I told you, these are natural systems which doesn't need energy, which doesn't need any operation cost, so that the colony people will be able to maintain it if they don't put in solids and all into it. And so this is what we built now it is kind of 2 years old and is working very well. So you can see the Kana plants. That is the final kind of thing which is the final treatment, and then clean water comes out of that. Another thing was, we replaced all their earlier community toilets into a study room, because all of them got individual toilets. So this was made into a study room for the children. And during the pandemic times, when it became online, we provided them a television also, a computer also, so that they could actually get on with their education. So I think the face of the colony is completely changed. We even the the road towards that, this is the canal and this is the wall. Some voluntary action by local painters. We gave them only paint, and they made it kind of more aesthetic also. So I think this is one of the interventions where one of the 14 subcanals got clean because of this technology intervention. And I don't know how many of you know that there's a survey called Swachh Sarvekshan survey that's done by the central government every year to look at towns which are doing very good in solid and liquid waste management. Alleppey used to get awards, but now it has gone down. But our this system got the best innovation award, All India award for liquid waste management this January. Then comes solid waste management. So I told you about this one, how to make these things work. So first we did a survey. Again, our survey was telling that there are problems. So biobins and biogas are the ones that is needed for organic waste management, the kitchen waste and things like that. So biobins were kind of given at a very subsidized rate. So our team actually, our team is a core team of 5-6 people who came as volunteers, and now they are kind of partly paid by Kerala Institute of Local Administration, who is our partner, Kila. And then they are trained to kind of do these kinds of campaigns. So they majorly use NSS volunteers from colleges and schools. So this survey was done, and then they did some marketing also of this. And so we could distribute this biobins. And then there's a plastic collection survey done again by the NSS volunteers. And now we do, kind of every 2 weeks, there is a plastic collection drive. And with this GIS, we have identified the sanitation grids. And so there's a rotation of how it can be done. These are the collection points that they came out with. I'm not showing that. We did some kind of what is called as heat maps also. So with our interventions, what are the kind of areas that became better? Those heat maps actually can be a kind of monitoring tool for the community also. This is the Harita Karma Sena, which is a Government of Kerala initiative, and it needs there is a funding given to the municipality to Kudumbashree is the local self-help group women. They can be mobilized for plastic collection. So collecting plastics, segregating that, and selling it. So we started with 30. Now there are 70 people who are actually doing this, and it is slowly getting into a self-sustaining activity. They are trying to do other kinds of things also. Like for example, they are trying to do the. Can you please switch off the mic? Somebody's mic is on. Yeah. So another activity that they're doing is, this organic waste. They are going into this community bins. They're trying to make it into organic manure also. They have also done some green protocol job. There's a green protocol by the Kerala government now, which is to make events green. Unfortunately, last 9 to 10 months they couldn't do anything. But before that, they did some kind of festivals, then 1 or 2 marriages that these people actually coordinated the to make it a plastic free. Okay, that happens. So they get a maintenance fee for this. So Haritha Karma Sena collects service fee also, which is another kind of return for them. So this actually slowly this is getting a kind of they are getting into a kind of self-sustaining mode through these activities. So the point is, one, how can you arrive at alternate technologies which are more sustainable and affordable? And second thing is, how can you kind of generate knowledge that can analyze this and get into solutions? And then once you get into solutions, how can you make it most affordable, and how can it be green generating jobs also that can coming into that? So I think that's it. And then last 1.5 years, we have started this campaign called Can Alapi, which is, I told you, which started with our old 7 volunteers, and they are mobilizing a lot of things. So one of the things that they've done, for example, is when the floods happened in 2018 August, they had these mobile apps. So they used that to kind of understand the the relief camps. They map the relief camps, and also from the relief camps they they were getting data about this, who has what kind of a diseases, and what relief measures are needed there, medicines are needed, those kinds of things could be mapped. And the DMO at the district medical officer could actually kind of provide that to them, and also the collector's relief measures. So they sat in the collectorate, and with this mobile apps, I think they could kind of do that. So these are some of the things that we never kind of planned also. And these were all kind of local students. Most of them were engineering students, but there was 2-3 we had actually 2 colleges, Assumption College Changanasheri and Kuttanad College of Engineering, QSAT College of Engineering Kuttanad. So the students from these were our kind of major resource persons who can now train other students also. So we have done a array of things in Kuttanad. Also in Nedumudi Panchayat, we developed this first disaster management plan from below, and also we have desilted a 2-kilometer local canal using MG Naraga labor. So in 2 days we could provide 1,500 labor. So all this could be possible only because of this this voluntary labor and the kind of student involvement. Otherwise, planning this actually takes a long time. If state department engineers plan this, it takes a long time. But these people coming in and kind of helping them, gets the plans planned in a very fast way. So this Canalopy is, you can get into the website of Canalopy to look at what are the things that are happening. So coming to the conclusions, I think, who has to do this is the problem. Who does the analysis of the problem? So we demonstrated that local, civil engineering colleges and research students can do the design. Almost 420 students from across the country who worked on this water body rejuvenation, they have the tools, the knowledge, and the perspectives to do that now. Then, am I audible? Dr. Saji, am I
Audible, sir.
audible?
Audible.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Then,
Fine.
yeah. Then the important thing is that, we work with the local government machinery. So there's a network of government officials, collector, municipality, line departments like irrigation, pollution control board, then missions like Haritha Mission, Sujita Mission. All these people now know our volunteers, and so they are actually feeding into their programs also. Then we have a network of academics and practitioners, around the country who came as our resource persons. So summer school was like, it was like 10 days where we start early in the morning, we go to the field, come 7 to 12. Then after lunch, we have this lecture hours up to 6. Then after 6, we have some kind of group activity. Sometimes we had cultural events. So it was a kind of 10-day, very intensive activity where, we developed a kind of network of students also around the country. What is achieved? Education made real world, engaging in local problems, crowdsourcing of data, better local analysis is possible. Then visualization of data can bring in socio-spatial understanding. Heat maps can be a monitoring tool, this GIS that we used. Then local participants come into close contact with local governance and become useful participants in development. Sensitive officials gets information and local assistance. And then I think, then we developed institutions also for social regulation, and also green jobs were kind of developed. So finally, to conclude, what are the lessons for transdisciplinarity? Now I come a bit to the concept also. Transdisciplinary research is interdisciplinary research that is strongly embedded in the problem context. So a problem of pollution is not a universal problem. It may be a universal problem, but solutions are more contextual. So we have to understand the problem in a context. So pollution in Alleppey is the problem. Pollution in Kotte may be a bit different because there may not be any canals there, Then stakeholders or interest groups are intimately involved in research formulation and implementation, because we need to know who is our, whom are we kind of working for. And there are different types of interest groups. So we found that there is industrial pollution also in Alleppey, but we intervened only into the colony because that is our stakeholder who is the weakest. So if we are spending government money, that is so let us prioritize whom should it go to. And industry should be regulated and not, kind of help like that. So I think that is another thing. Stakeholders are different, interest groups are different. Whom are you going to work for? It's not for neutrally for the community or anything. You need to have concrete stakeholders whom you are working for. Transdisciplinary research aims to democratize scientific practice, because civil engineering knowledge is demystified, socio-economic knowledge is demystified with a strong understandings of participation. So learnings for transdisciplinary research. There is I think this actually Babu also told, we are students of problems, but world has problems, and the world has problems, but universities have departments, and the experts more and more or less and less, the experts know more and more about less and less until he knows everything about nothing. I think this is a common thing that we both had. What are the characteristics of transdisciplinary research? There's a problem or issue orientation. As we told, the research starts from the real issues in society, and the research aims to contribute to their solution, not abstract modeling. Problems of problem definition is based on the understanding that different groups involved may perceive the same problem in different ways. I told you the colony people as well as industrial owners or middle class in Alleppey. Then explicit attention to the research process. So there should be focus of internally within the research team and externally to those related to the conduct of research. So we need to have a plan within the research team, which has to be clearly, shared with the line department officials, with the residents associations, municipality. So all of them should know what we are doing research for and what are the outcomes and what could be the solutions. And so if they're a part of the problem, they should be part of the solution also. So for that, we need to take them early on board into the research planning process. Crossing boundaries for change-oriented work, there should be the researcher willingness to cross disciplinary boundaries, which is very clear. Researcher professional boundaries, I told you, line department professionals, NGO professionals, the researcher should be able to understand their perspectives also. Then research and policy boundaries. I think in the policymakers, we should be able to understand what they want, and then we should be able to talk to power also. If they are wrong, we should be able to tell that our research is showing that your policy is wrong, and this could be a way out. Then boundary, this is called boundary work, because we are crossing all these boundaries. So this boundary work has to be taught and learned. So as I'm very happy that this is the first time I'm presenting it to a education people in a school of pedagogical science. First time I'm actually kind of interacting to education people. So how it can be taught and learned in education, in professional training, and especially through practice. How do you bring in practice also, development practice also into these kinds of training? So that's what I want to learn from the experts in education. I think, this transdisciplinary researcher needs some attitudes also. First one is willing to cross boundaries, both disciplinary and cultural. Then being reactive and self-consciously normative. What is that? Normally we react to a problem on the ground. Here you have to proactively kind of, engage with that problem. And self-consciously normative means, normative means world ought to be like that. That's a normative concept. We say that the world has to be more just. The world has to be environmentally more sustainable. Those are the normative. So the researcher has to be self-consciously normative about their concepts, what they carry. So they shouldn't shy away from addressing the normative and political questions, because sometimes we are told that research is an objective process. Research it should be an objective process, but when we are aware of our own biases and our own subjectivities. So in the beginning and in the process, we should be able to self-consciously reflect on what are the kinds of subjectivities that we carry, and then we can be objective at the end. Willing to be sensitive to one's own views and biases, because we are very, very aware of others' biases. How others are biased, we very well know. Do we know our own biases? I think that's needed for, at least for transdisciplinary work, that is needed. And then the most important is we need a non-individualistic attitude, because for a change-oriented work, our knowledge is limited as an individual. Other individuals have knowledge, other disciplines have knowledge. So can we make bridges with them, cross those boundaries, and do collaborative work? So transdisciplinarity needs that. Then the skill sets that are needed as an engaged problem solver. The approach is not abstract. It addresses issues as problem in a given context. So and you have to be a deliberative practitioner. You should have the skills as a negotiator, because there are different interests in the society. There are different types of professionals who come from different backgrounds. So you need a facilitation skills to bring these people together, to be a good mediator, And then you should have substantive domain knowledge yourself. Interdisciplinarity doesn't mean that you don't, like yesterday Babu was telling, you are jack of all, master of none, then nobody will respect you. So you should have your own domain knowledge, which should be then kind of expanded with interdisciplinarity. So this is our technology and development course in IIT Bombay. It's more towards that. So we have an MTech course. The entry is through GATE as well as our own examination and interview, where we tell these engineers that you should actually go and work in your own disciplines. You should come only if you have this attitude for change and openness. So we have perspective courses, the philosophical nuts and bolts, like the development theory, appropriate technology, policy and governance. Then you have sectoral courses like water, soil, agriculture, energy and environment, which exposes them to the science and technology as well as the policy aspects of it. Then we have skill courses like social science, research methods, system dynamics, project management and analysis. And then, when rest of IIT goes for internships in big industries and abroad, our students actually go for a 10-week stay, mostly in tribal villages in India. And so they have to then do a systematic reporting of activities that they've done and a small research. So they can't get out of the village. So that actually is a major exercise that we do. Then there's a two-stage project, MTech project of MTech 1 and 2. So these are the things that so there's a technology element of applied engineering science, technology development, technology assessment, arriving at appropriate technology, technology dissemination, and then technology impact analysis. On the policy side, we have applied social science like political economy, public administration, project management, financial analysis, public policy analysis, governance, participatory research methods, field research methods, and then which actually brings into the development perspectives, skills, and domain knowledge. There's a field orientation, so this perspective, skills, and domain knowledge makes them interdisciplinary. The field orientation and concrete stakeholders give them transdisciplinarity in their orientation. And so there is a clear end user concerns, what is the kind of last person wants. There's a publicness in that, so analysis should be more towards the kind of public institutions and all, and not towards companies or private entities. There's a practice orientation, there's a problem in context research, case studies, and then there is capacity building of other academic institutions, CSOs and all, which we do. And then we actually take this back to the kind of policy realm. I think this is the kind of strategy that we follow. If I have 4 more minutes, I can run the CanLP campaign video. Dr. Saji. 4
yes.
minutes, or we can get to the. Okay, so this is a this is a campaign. This is a campaign video actually made 2 years back, just after we finished our summer school, before we made all these activities. So this was done by a BA psychology graduate who was our volunteer. He then moved on, other people came in, and so he has done it in a very kind of what you call very fast pace. And this they took to many residents associations and showed them to kind of tell about what are the problems that LP is facing and what are the solutions that we are kind of. So it was a kind of more of a communication tool that we used. I think there are subtitles for people who doesn't understand Malayalam. This is the colony that was earlier, which we saw you.
നോക്കിയിരിക്കണേ.
Okay, coming back to, am I audible, Dr. Saji?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My last slide is this. My last slide is this. You remember this lady who was complaining earlier about the canal, you know? Smile is our kind of outcome of the whole thing that we have done. Okay, thank you very much. We can go into the discussion now. I think this YouTube is
Stop sharing, sir.
I think you know this. Are you hearing this on audio?
Yes, sir. It's audible.
Not available, sir. The video.
I cannot stop it. That's what I'm trying. Ah, it's here.
Around bottom of the
Yes.
screen, you can see one stop sharing. Click on that.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Video is out.
Okay, I'll start the video. Okay. Okay, so are there any questions?
Dear participants, if you have any queries or questions, you can please raise it either through the chat box or directly through video.
Hello, sir. I don't
Hello?
think there are any questions in the chat box either. There are a lot of
Yes.
comments that the session was very interesting, valuable, very fruitful. If that's
Madam,
the
one question has come.
okay.
Yaduprabha Yadav is asking,
Yeah,
how
one
did you
question.
manage to bring the local bodies and students together in solving this issue? Yeah, I think, as I told you, in the beginning itself, we started with the municipality. We went and, took their kind of consent and uh, we took them on board. Only after that, we started our winter school. So they were right from the start, they were kind of, active. And then the municipal chairman inaugurated our winter school. He actually gave the certificates at the end. So I think municipality was very happy with the kind of involvement that they were giving, because they were getting a lot of data. For example, the city sanitation plans were made as a mandatory requirement by the Ministry of Urban Development. So our data was very helpful for them to kind of make that for Alpi town. So, and the other land departments also, pollution control board, irrigation, all these people were kind of very, very helpful. And so what we found was that, there is no point in criticizing the government as such. Can we engage with them and make them work is one question, because many of them doesn't have the enough information data to kind of engage in change. They have time and resources only for kind of routine work. So if there is kind of additional inputs like this, and then there's an energy created from the ground, I think that will help them also to be innovative. That's the experience that we had. And the question is, how can this be upscaled to each state? I think there should be at least, beyond the state, what we can do is, locales is what we can start with. Can the academic institutions do something in their own context? That's much more important than, because we have shown that, we have brought in for 420 students from all over India. So we planted the seeds, but for it to grow, I think there should be a local academic institution. If they can work with the local governance institutions, I think things can actually change in a major way. And it's not that um, even if it doesn't bring in much change on the ground, it will change our pedagogy. It will change the way our students think. I think that is much more important. So education as an endeavor, what's our responsibility? We are the fortunate few who got a very small percentage, who got opportunity for tertiary education. So what's our social responsibility to kind of contribute back? And can we use this valuable time that we spend in the universities also to kind of contribute to learn from the ground? And I think it will only contribute to whatever you're doing academically. And we have published in international journals also, so I don't think we have lost anything. We have only gained out of this kind of a work.
True, sir. To make students responsible for the changes that you have guided is a very great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the kind of achievement. I think one single achievement, if you ask, is that, especially my 4 or 5 PhD students who got engaged in all this, and and I think their perspective has completely changed in a way. I think they will be much better academics than people who actually spend time only kind of within the university. So and now we work more with the local colleges, because we found that the people who came from outside, they don't have the kind of there is no kind of way that they can come in and contribute again. So NSS is a major resource, like this national service scheme. um, uh, so we have done several camps for the NSS. Otherwise, NSS does only very superficial work. So here they are also very happy that they are doing something academic as well as it is contributing to development. So all of you, please think about how to engage NSS into these kinds of things. And yeah, you can ask the question.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, please ask. We can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir. Well-known presentation today. Very attractive class, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, sir.
Thank you. So, could you please send the feedback link? Excellent experience, organizers. Okay, I don't think there is much.
I have a question. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually your presentation is so nice. But I am from, I'm Kadambini Terangpi from Difu, Assam, Difu Government College, sir.
Okay.
I have a query that you said that the NSS's work in college, no? So in Difu is a very remote place, a tribal area. Means Karbi Anglong. I think you heard about in Assam there is several districts. One district is Karbi Anglong and the headquarters is Difu. So our college is a government college, but the rule of NSSA is I don't think that it was. You already advised that using NSSA in this way to promote to the student community, but here it was just a namesake is here. So how to use NSSA in a proper way to develop the career of the student, sir? I have the question to you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I think, for example, someone very dynamic like you become NSS coordinator. And then you can convince the students that, how, it should be kind of made better. So one of the issues is kind of MG Narega, the employment guarantee scheme. Is a good example which we are very much involved in Maharashtra. The MG Narega, if it doesn't work, it works only because of bureaucratic apathy. Because there should be a planning. There should be plans to be submitted to the higher officials in the rural development department. Only then it comes in. Like there should be a plan for a road. And in that road, there could be a labor component which can come in. So there is no expertise on the ground to kind of do that. So can you bring in some engineering colleges and, or your own kind of students to make, small structures, water harvesting structures or, other plantations, or some kind of afforestation program, watershed management. So if we can bring in, and with NGOs also, with NGOs help also, if you can make such plans, I think it can facilitate the panchayat and the district administration to kind of bring in much more labor into this, because MG Narega is a absolutely important program in current India, with pandemic, with so much of job losses and all. I think if employment guarantee has to be streamlined, you need plans from below. So that's one of the things that academic institutions can very well do. Otherwise, what are the kind of problems that you see around that is important? Because when I go to Alleppey, it's a town with a very touristic kind of a town, where people use the canals to get into that lake, but that canals are absolutely kind of polluted. So which was a kind of very very important problem that everybody sees there. So like that, it's not our problem. So transdisciplinarity needs problem definition by the people who are affected by it. So can you actually start a dialogue with the local panchayats or the local government officials or local NGOs to see that what is the kind of problem here, and then expose our students into that problem, to be part of the solutions in that. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think it was benefited to the student, especially in this remote area of Karbi Anglong Assam. Thank you so much for. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Sir, it's a major problem in years. So how you look at the role of state to engage the educational institution in this perspective, in this area, in this field?
Yeah. If you wait for a policy change to happen from the government, it may not happen. It should happen from the ground below, because it's very difficult. After we have started, after 2 years, there is already a government order that internship can be done, but to make it formal, it's so difficult. So we have to start from below. That's what I think, and then make it kind of more formal, and and this can be incentivized also, because students can be given grade to this. I think UGC already has this norms, or AICT, I think, in the engineering education, they already have a mandatory internship program built into the curriculum, which can then give them incentive. If they are part of the 7-day program, if they get so much of credit, I think that's one way to kind of bring in. And also teachers, and if teachers are also getting credit to these kinds of things. So this is, as educational administrators and teachers of education, I think we should think about this, how to ask government to kind of make this more formal, especially these internship kinds of more problem oriented and action oriented activities. How do you make it part of the curriculum?
Yeah, as per new education policy, I think if there's an inclusion of such type of activity which can bring fruitful result in coming years.
So one way is to kind of demonstrate from below so that policies can happen. Because if we wait for policies to change for us to begin, it may not happen. So demonstration from below can actually induce policies also.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So I think there is not much in the chat also. So hopefully it was a helpful session, and I thank the participants for your kind of patience and cooperation, and also for the organizers to give me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now, shall we move on to the vote of thanks?
Yes.
Invite Dr. Sajina Jalil, Associate Professor, School of Pedagogical Science, to extend the vote of thanks.
Somebody's asking for my email. I'll type it here. Please keep in touch.
Okay, ma'am. I think madam is not available online. NC Narayan sir, Professor Dr. Gandhi, ma'am, dear participants, today we had a very fruitful session that was very expert, that required a very good expertise and dominance of the subject. Narayan sir has expressed his interest in the topic as well as explained the concepts very clearly with clear-cut examples and from his own experience. You could understand that the study he conducted has led us to many insights about the interdisciplinary as well as the transdisciplinary aspects in which education can take up social issues and how the government and organizations can come forward, unite together and make changes in our lives. So this is one of the best examples that he has given in Alleppey, how to clean that city with a lot of canals, water bodies, and how environment got restored with the help of the activities of a group of students as well as educational institutions. So really congratulate you for putting forward this idea to all of us and showing us the best example through how to make it possible. How to make it possible means how to do it. Really, it was a wonderful session to find out how you made it and you explained it very clearly to all of us. And the chat box especially explained how participants has received it in a good manner and in a good taste. So thank you for the wonderful session, sir. Thank you very much. And to all the dear participants, your strength. Today also, good number of participants were there and cooperation was there. And thank you very much for the cooperation and cordial invitation that you received from our side.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Narayan sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.